I'm sure you guys have already seen the recent hashtag PickASideYouTube movement that MamaMax started. It was spread around like a wildfire, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. To sum it up quickly, Max made a video with the help from other creators calling out YouTube for their inconsistent moderation practices, and Max outright says that YouTube is protecting pedophiles, giving them a side to choose, children or pedophiles, and for people to, in his own words,
I want you to pace this bitch until the world is nauseous from looking at it.
Incited them to start spreading the movement as far and wide as they can on Twitter. I can say without a doubt in my mind that Max got what he wanted, as people have been talking about this situation non-stop for a while now. After waiting a handful of days to let everything settle and simmer, I started thinking about things more and more, watching the video over and over, seeing how people reacted to it on Twitter, and I started to get more invested in everything. I made a video talking about the movement and giving my opinions, but afterwards it still couldn't leave my head, so that's when I started making this video, basically to clear my thoughts out on a script in a nice, concise way. That's when I started to notice that things were a lot more interesting and deeper than I realized, and that Max has a history of starting a movement very similar to this current one. On September 13th, 2020, Max released a video titled Hunting Predators on a Children's Dating App, a 45-minute video exposing apps on the Google Play Store where predators would take advantage of children for their own sick reasons. Within 24 hours after release, YouTube took the video down for bullying and harassment, which gave Max the idea that YouTube was protecting these predators, as he was given no specific reason as to why it was taken down. Around the same time Max's video came out, hashtag AnswerUsYouTube was trending, as YouTubers Critikal and Markiplier had recently had 2 of their own videos taken down and given a strike on both of their channels, when the videos in question had no reason to be taken down, without a doubt. The video clip in question was something that had been on the platform for 5 years already, and so they got their thoughts together and decided to start a trending hashtag in order to show YouTube's moderation bot system messed up very badly. Things were fixed within literal hours after Critikal and Markiplier made their videos, because it was clearly a fault in the automated bot system YouTube uses and was fixed accordingly. Max was very aware of this trend, and so after his own video was taken down, after waiting patiently, he decided to give it a try himself. On September 26, 2020, Max released a video titled pedotube.com, calling out YouTube for taking his video off the site, which he claims is because YouTube wants to protect predators. Max starts the video by explaining that he made a video about these mobile apps on the Google Play Store where old men prey on children, only for the video to be taken down swiftly after release.
3 months ago, my fans and I discovered one of the most massive pedo rings on the surface web. Mobile apps that have been around for years, calling themselves Tinder alternatives for children. And what we saw was the most vile and repulsive shit no human should ever have the displeasure of seeing.
He immediately starts to go on how he uses his content to expose these awful people and imprison them, and starts to imply that YouTube goes out of their way to protect these predators on the site.
So now that you consider pedophilia as a recognized sexual preference, I guess we can expect pedosexual celebration month from YouTube sometime soon? This is not the first time you protected pedophiles, punished us, and ignored the cries of children.
He even shows how soon after he released his original video, all the apps covered were taken off the Google Play Store, indirectly telling Max that what he did was correct, and only enraging him more about the video being taken down. The video ends with him asking his viewers to start spreading the hashtag AnswerUsPedotube, with Max himself leading the charge. Eventually, he is able to re-upload his video to the site after being told by Team YouTube on Twitter that the video was taken down because he shared a private phone number, which is against their terms of service, so he rightfully fixed the issue and everything was back to normal. Max's reasoning for making this movement is understandable, as he was never told a specific reason as to why his video was taken down, only that it was against YouTube's bullying and harassment guidelines, which is a very vague way to put things. After waiting patiently for a few days, he then saw that his only option to get attention towards his cause was to copy what other people did earlier that month, as if it worked for them, it could also work for him, hence the extremely similar hashtags. And it did work for him, because YouTube finally gave him a proper answer as to why his video was taken down, so he made the necessary changes and the video was back up on the website. Of course, as I mentioned before, Max calls YouTube a site that protects pedophiles, which is emotionally charged language simply used to rile people up to join his cause, because when people are pissed off and united together, they tend to want to get shit done. While calling YouTube a site that protects pedophiles was more used to grab people's attention, the overall issue of YouTube not giving a straight answer as to why his video was taken down was the main catalyst holding everything together. Max gets his video back up on the website, and everyone moves on with not one, but two huge victories in their pockets. Critikal and Markiplier got their channel issues fixed, and now so did Max. People would move on and continue to make their videos, make their tweets, talk about whatever the heck was going on, watch their favorite content creators, and generally just live their lives. However, a little over a year later, Max would have another run with YouTube's awful moderation yet again, only this time he was much more pissed off. On November 26, 2021, MamaMax would release a video titled, "He abused hundreds of underage girls on IMVU. This is what happened to him." An hour-and-a-half long video exposing a specific predator on the social site IMVU. Soon after the video was released, it was taken down for violating YouTube's community guidelines on nudity or sexual content. Months of hard work was down the drain, and Max was rightfully pissed off once more. YouTube took down another video of Max exposing a predator, and he wasn't having any of it. Of course, after the success that was Answer Us PedoTube, Max already knew how to get the attention of YouTube, so he soon got started on repeating that success yet again. On December 26th, exactly 1 month later, Max would release a video titled PickASideYouTube, explaining to his audience why his last video was taken down and why he made this video in the first place. It starts off with Nexpo explaining the situation to everyone, only this time instead of not knowing why the video was taken down, Max was told why. Because of a virtual 3D character making out with another, showing off his bare ass to the camera.
Especially compared to the categorical obscenities that already plague YouTube. And for what? Because of the bare ass of a virtual character. Is this a joke? Max documenting this formerly unknown behavior in a 90-minute documentary about the horrors of pedophilia and child sexual abuse in IMVU is somehow sexually gratifying to you? Everything was perfectly fine for the first half-fucking-million people who watched it, but the very second Team YouTube watches it. Interesting.
Unlike the last time when Max had no idea why his video was taken down, this time he was given an answer, and a very frustrating one at that. Max then starts to monologue about how YouTube punishes people who make content exposing pedos, and again, implies that YouTube goes out of their way to protect predators.
Whether it's intentional or not, you endlessly punish those of us who create content in response to injustice, speaking up for victims like children and pursuing the perpetrators like pedophiles.
A good portion of the video is then dedicated to a slew of other content creators expressing their displeasures with the awful YouTube moderation system, ranging from monetization problems to just making content for their channel in general. While there's a bit of different issues coming from all content creators involved in this part of the video, the message for everyone is very clear. YouTube's moderation system is beyond awful, and there needs to be something done so that content creators won't get unrightfully punished for virtually no reason. The end of the video is similar to pedotube.com, with Max personally asking for a few content creators to come and pick his side and getting YouTube to stop protecting predators, ranging from Philip DeFranco to Corpse Husband. Max then gives YouTube an ultimatum, children or pedophiles, and proceeds to ask everyone else watching the video to join in on spreading his message all over Twitter once more with the hashtag PickASideYouTube, just like a year prior, and boy, did his message spread all over the place.
And this is the part where you come in. Children, the links are in the description. I kindly ask you to come with me to make a fucking mess for the second time. I want you to pace this bitch until the world is nauseous from looking at it. I want you to drown out every trending topic so that even something like Spider-Man looks like a microscopic speck of dust compared to us. And tonight, YouTube will choose. Let die the pedophiles they love, or suffer the little children.
From the very second the video and tweet dropped, everyone was talking about this. People were tweeting non-stop about it all night long, videos were being made, it was an absolute shitstorm just like Max wanted. This was far beyond successful, as within 24 hours he had clearly topped last year's call out to YouTube, and you couldn't go anywhere on YouTube or Twitter without seeing somebody talking about this. Of course, with such a viral movement going about, there were going to be a lot of differing opinions flying from all sorts of angles. Video after video, tweet after tweet were made on the situation, either supporting the movement or calling it out for one reason or another. Many good points were brought up from both sides of the coin as well. Some people were saying how despite the fact that YouTube doesn't directly support predators, deleting videos that expose them unintentionally protects them in a way, while others argued that YouTube deletes some of the videos because the subject matter might be too much for advertising companies like Coca-Cola to handle, and they could stop running ads on the site, other companies might follow in suit, and another YouTube adpocalypse could happen. The thing that was most important about the many discussions in my opinion though, is that it did open up conversation, and not your typical petty YouTube drama conversation, but conversation that actually matters and mean more than just your average internet drama. The conversations had between people were mostly cordial, as people from all sides pitched in on what they thought about the situation and whether it was right for Max to call out YouTube in such an inflammatory way. People taking apart the video and piecing things together from their own viewpoint was important because Max's video meant more than just calling out YouTube protecting predators. It was calling out YouTube for its paltry moderation system, as time and time again has shown itself to be utterly useless. Like I mentioned before, you had people talking about how this could cause another adpocalypse once again, but also other things like what could be the best way to moderate content in the future that, while edgy and provocative, was being made for the greater good. Was Max in the right for calling YouTube a predator-loving site to rile people up yet again? Or was he using emotional manipulation to further his own personal agenda? All of these are serious and valid questions that most people treated respectfully, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't interesting to go over with all my fellow peers, as I'm sure y'all did as well. A few days would go by, and the conversations would keep going. More and more people learned of the cause, and after the initial shitstorm settled, people started to wait and see if YouTube would respond or not. Max would start to check off names on his Twitter account as they joined his cause, and people were generally waiting to see what would happen next. One of the people Max called upon for help, Critikal, gave his own insight on the situation at hand, was able to put his mind together on the movement itself, and gave people the insight that while the overall movement is for the betterment of YouTube, pushing the message as "you're either with us or against us" mindset can potentially ruin things altogether.
And I thought MamaMax did a great job in his video until the end, where he turned it into a "you're either with us or with the pedophiles" type thing. Even though the message of his video isn't YouTube is protecting pedophiles, he's not saying YouTube is a sanctuary for pedophiles in his video, but his hashtag implies that. And I think it's counterproductive and doesn't really accomplish anything at all. It's a message, his video, I think almost everyone would agree with the message. But the hashtag, I feel like most people would find that silly and just write it off right away.
Hopefully people can come together and realize that the biggest issue in all of this is that YouTube's awful moderation needs things to be changed and fixed so that Max and other content creators, whether it be other predator exposers or videos on controversial subject matter, don't have to deal with the bullshit video strikes anymore. Max responds to Critikal's video in some now deleted Twitter posts conveying his disappointment with him and how he tried to reach out to him before Critikal made his video on YouTube. Max seems a bit disappointed that he didn't take his side immediately, but there was still another way to get his message across to the masses. On December 29th, 3 days after the PickASideYouTube movement began, Max would be brought onto an episode of the podcast Half Baked, hosted by DeOrio and Turkey Tom. They would all go over the recent shitstorm that Max had started, and a lot of questions that people had were answered throughout the hour-and-a-half watch time. Max explains why he chose PickASideYouTube and called out the site for protecting predators as a way to simply get people riled up and spread the message through other people rather than himself.
I was wondering, like, so you're firmly in the position that YouTube needs to, like, make these changes, right? Like, your message is really that middle portion of the video, the front and the end, as far as I'm able to tell, that those exist to, like, get the video viral, right?
For the most part, I'd say so.
Do you, it's weird. So if your goal is to make, like, a message that can reflect back and, like, actually produce real change on YouTube, why would you go with such, like, an inflammatory hashtag? I don't know, for people who haven't seen it, which is, like, next to nobody. It's PickASideYouTube, children are pedophiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't think my video is going to fucking do anything. I want the people I call out in the video to do something, because they're the ones YouTube is going to listen to. They ain't going to listen to fucking me.
So you think your video is like the first in a domino effect?
I was thinking that exact thing. Yes, it was like a domino effect.
Steal the words.
I'm just trying to get the ball rolling, and I feel like no one's going to fucking care unless I make it this bombastic, stupid ass thing
Max explains his main problem with YouTube being that they punish dark content creators and censor those that make investigative content.
Is your problem with YouTube, that you want to express with that video?
I mean, it was the same as everyone's problem. It was them taking down content from, like I said, darker channels. And I know this isn't just me. Like, you can see the comments section of that video of people speaking up like, yes, YouTube takes down my videos all the time. And like,
so I guess the question is, like, you say pick a side, YouTube, like, how are they picking the pedophile side right now?
It's more so that they don't have protections in place for investigative content. Like, if like you said, yours was for privacy and harassment. My most recent one was for sex and nudity. My previous one was for violence in a fucking when I'm doing my Hotline Miami scenes. Like,
Max even admits that the reason he said YouTube protects predators was to fuel the fire of the movement, and that YouTube indirectly protects pedophiles by taking down videos such as his own.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, you seem like this seems like a total rational thing. You couldn't present the video in like this manner where you just explain what the problem is instead of drumming up a whole narrative.
We can get to that. I wanted to get to y'all's other points.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, Nick, you said it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right?
Yes.
And that's because of like the bombastic nature of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the point of it. It was to fuel the fire, I guess. I know.
I guess the thing is, when you make a video saying like YouTube has protected pedophiles, which really they haven't. I'm sorry, like YouTube has not protected pedophiles.
They definitely have not protected pedophiles.
YouTube has taken a few videos in large catalogs of videos from creators, and some of those have resulted in videos about pedophiles being taken down. Does YouTube protect pedophiles? Would you say that? Like, you said that in the video. I wouldn't say that. I haven't seen evidence within your video that YouTube protects pedophiles, or frankly that by proxy anything they've done protects pedophiles.
I mean, the one example in your video, you tell exactly why it was taken down. That's like, it drives my, like, I'm going like right through the wall, dude.
No, yeah. That's why I say, like, usually I'll say like indirectly protects pedophiles, and I do stand by that, because the pedophiles I've previously covered, like when my videos get taken down, it's like, okay, what happens? Like, it serves no one but those pedophiles, right?
There is a whole lot more stuff that the trio go over about the movement, and I recommend you listen to the podcast on your own time to get a better understanding of Max's mindset before making your own opinion. He certainly sees things differently than most people, and it is quite interesting to go over all the topics that they cover together. The next day rolls by, and Max says he had a talk with Critikal personally and implies that he took his side, and then the very next day on New Year's Eve, Max announces that his movement was successful and that he was able to get into contact with YouTube. He expresses his gratitude for all the people that helped spread the word around, as it looks that YouTube is willing to work with Max and help make the site moderation more consistent for all content creators, not just those that make darker or more controversial videos. The movement was a success, as despite what people were thinking, MamaMax and YouTube representatives were able to have a talk together, so now all we can do from here on out is wait and see what happens in the future. Whether you agree with how Max approached the situation is your own opinion. Should Max have called YouTube a site that protects pedophiles for outrage, or should he have only focused on YouTube's moderation being inconsistent and downright awful? Will YouTube even implement any changes into their moderation system, or will things end up being the same way it's been for the past couple years, just hearing a bunch of people complain and then YouTube just ignoring everybody? Make sure to tell me your opinion in the comments below, and keep it civil and don't call people pedophiles for not agreeing with you, cause that's just unproductive and plain stupid. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, with all of that out of the way, I will see you guys later.